Good evening and thanks for joining. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel with the very latest on what is happening in the tropics at this point. Right now we are keeping a very close eye right now on the northern Gulf at this point, a little bit south of Apalachicola, Florida at this point. That's where that low currently sits. But most likely now it looks like we could be seeing a tropical depression by late tomorrow and as we head into very early on Thursday at this point. I think for us the biggest threat right now will be that potential for some very heavy rainfall heading into the next couple days. It starts out with a few scattered showers tomorrow and then rain chances quickly climb by Thursday and Friday of this week. So here's the very latest from the National Hurricane Center, and right now with that latest advisory, over the next 48 hours they've given it a 90% chance of development. Again, that is very high. Because of that high number, most likely tomorrow, sometime probably midday, they will start issuing tropical watches across the northern Gulf, from Florida possibly into the Gulf Coast, through Louisiana into portions of Texas at this point. Notice even long range, next 5 days, 80% chance to 90% chance of development. And the main thing is it looks like we're starting to see it stack a little bit more. Again, not so much this evening, but when you start to look at long range models, that chance that it could rapidly intensify a little bit as it makes its way towards the west. We do know that. That's one of the key things and components that we've got in place right now, that the chance for development still high, the track confidence still in that medium category. Main concern right now is for that area a little bit further towards the west. Does it take a northerly path, or does it slide a little bit further south and strengthen a little bit? And also confidence on intensity. How strong does it get? Some models are even indicating that this system will be a strong tropical storm before landfall, maybe even a very weak hurricane making landfall somewhere in Louisiana. So right now, again, that uncertainty still remains very high at this point. Still looks pretty ugly on the overall satellite and radar picture. Invest 92. Right now, those winds are looking to be about 25 miles per hour. Notice again, just sitting a little bit south of Panama City, mainly the Big Bend of Florida at this point. We got some thunderstorm activity. A lot of what you're seeing here is mainly due to a little bit of afternoon shower activity. So again, it's not associated with that center of circulation quite yet. We still don't know where that central point is currently located. You can see it on the track models. They haven't come with one central point. Once they get that center point, then our overall confidence quickly jumps, because we start to see a better indication as to where those models are going to originate from. Again, you need to know that before you can actually figure out big scale where a lot of these storms are going to go. So again, track confidence still a little bit low. We need to see where it's going to go. Most likely they're going to send out Hurricane Hunter aircraft tomorrow at some time, possibly late morning going into the afternoon, to kind of investigate the storm so we get a little bit more information. And if that happens, obviously they find that closed circulation, which it looks like is currently sitting just a few miles off the coast of Florida. If it tightens up a little bit, if it strengthens a little bit, and it looks like signs of possible intensification, well then, yeah, we could be moving forward to those tropical watches across the northern Gulf. Now, here is the concern. This is the model that everybody's been watching very closely. It's the European model, because what you're getting is more of a stack feature. That stack feature is allowing this system to build, strengthen, and as you see here, maybe even a Category 1 storm. This is the European model by the time it makes landfall. And as you notice, a lot of that thunderstorm activity still displaced to the east of the center of this storm. So as it drives towards the north through the area, we're still looking at a lot of that heavy rainfall sitting somewhere between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, maybe even some strong wind gusts if it follows this current path. And again, that's a big if at this point. Notice also that we could see some banding going back out into the Gulf of Mexico. Even into Sunday, going into Monday, we could still be dealing with a little bit of rainfall if it takes that current path. And that again is probably the worst case scenario path. Good news is every model run has been tracking further and further east and away from us. Now, as you see, this is the American model. This one not as strong. Notice very broad, a weaker version of the same pattern. Still, however, still making landfall in Louisiana. Steering winds right now are kind of driving this system quickly back inland and then up towards the northeast. We've got a very large ridge out here that's kind of blocking that activity. However, if this system slows down even in intensification, well, this may even drive further towards the west. So we've got a lot going on. Kind of big picture, you see chance for some heavier rainfall across portions of South Louisiana, going into very late on Saturday, heading into your Sunday. And I just want to show you another model. Again, this is the NAM. This is the North American model, and as you notice here, this one tracks a little bit further south, a little bit further out into the Atlantic or Gulf of Mexico at this point, and notice where the thunderstorm activity, a lot of what you're seeing here is kind of getting sheared off the top. So again, a lot of different scenarios as we continue to move forward. What we do know is that we're going to start to see some of that rainfall tomorrow, at least for the next 2 days. We kind of put ourselves in that ½ to 1.5 inch category that's indicated by that blue, not so much a little bit further in, a little bit drier picture now for portions of Acadiana and Lake Charles at this point, even portions of northeastern Texas. But notice the 7-day trend at this point. You see that a lot of areas, if that main path the Euro follows, you see that band of heavy rainfall going from Alexandria all the way down to the coastline. We're talking Morgan City, New Iberia, and that extends all the way possibly even to about Homa at this point. So we're talking rainfall estimates in that 3, maybe 6-inch category. Localized areas could even see a little bit above that, up to about 8 inches of overall rainfall. Luckily, this system looks like it's going to continue to move, and that is the good scenario here, because we don't want it sitting and stalling out like a lot of storms like Florence and like Harvey, or even like the storm of 2016. I don't see it happening that way. This looks like it's got enough upper level support to quickly make its way inland and then drag it through the area. However, it could still dump a lot of rainfall because it all depends on where those rain bands set up. We've got a lot of moisture out there, precipitable water valleys. Again, that's the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, still very high at this point. So a lot can happen. Obviously, the waters of the Northern Gulf, very warm out there. We're looking at the environment becoming very conducive over the next 24 hours, meaning we're not seeing much in the way of wind shear out there. The other concern that I do want to point out, and they have issued a river flood warning for New Orleans, and the concern is that water levels could quickly jump to about 19 feet. That should stay beyond levee walls. That's good because it looks like levee walls are going to go somewhere up to about 20 feet. But the concern is that there could be some storm surge kind of pushing in. We really have to see which way the path comes, but a lot of that water could get pushed up the Mississippi River. So again, inland, that could be a concern out there. Also, inland lakes, we could see the water levels rise for a lot of coastal areas. So that's going to be a flooding concern out there as we continue to move forward, on top of that additional rainfall. Obviously, further inland here in Baton Rouge, we're not going to have to worry so much about the river flooding. The concern is going to be that localized flash flooding concern as we continue to move forward. So just take a look at your chance for rain over the next couple days. Tomorrow, we're going to go with a few scattered showers, but keep an eye on that system. Right now, Invest 92. Looks like we're going to be seeing quickly tighten up a little bit going into early on Thursday. That's when rain chances start to climb a little bit. A lot of those outer bands could be starting to make their way a little bit further into Louisiana. Heavy rainfall sliding in on Friday. Still looking at some heavy rain on Saturday, and then those lingering rain bands possibly Sunday and Monday. But again, we're watching everything very closely at this point because there are still quite a few scenarios that could lay out over the next 24 to 36 hours. So what we really kind of need to do is see what happens tomorrow. If they fly out there, they investigate the storm, they find that center of circulation, well then again, a lot of the models are going to kind of move around a little bit once they kind of find that central point, and then we can continue to move forward. So we're going to continue to keep you updated. If you have any questions or concerns, we'll have the very latest on social media. Obviously, you are following us on Facebook Live, but also on our website. You can email us at brproud.com. And again, we'll have the latest information, more updates also in our evening newscast. Thank you.